This is Sarah with Posh Pooch Designs, and today's video I'm going to show you how to make a great big Christmas stocking. Now the pattern is called Big Christmas Stocking, and it's really simple. You can find this pattern on my blog. I'll put that link in the notes underneath the video, which I always do. And this pattern was written for this great big stocking, and it's stitched with 2 strands of yarn and your K-hook. And I really love this pattern. It measures 19 inches long. It's a nice big stocking. Well, I ordered in some Bernat Brights. I about rolled that one off the table. Bernat Brights. And I thought, wouldn't it be fun to use the same pattern but use the Bernat Brights? And I did. So if you want to stitch a Bernat Brights big stocking like this one measures 22 inches long, and you're going to need to use your end hook. And this is the hook. It is a 10 millimeter that you're going to need, and 1 strand of the blanket yarn. And you stitch the pattern exactly as you do for 2 strands. It just ends up you're using a bigger hook, and you end up with a lot bigger stocking. And I absolutely love how this turned out. So what I used is green, and I ordered in this size, and this size here is it's a number 6 bulky, and it has 5.3 ounces. So you're going to need I used about half of it. So you're going to need about 3 ounces for the green portion, whichever color you're choosing for that. And you're going to need about 2 ounces of red if you're going to use that for the heel and the toe, and then about 2 ounces of the white, which those are more than you need, but that's how we did this one. My hook is stuck on there. For the demonstration that we're going to do, I'm going to be using this, and I ordered this in. It's called, let me look at the name of it here. It's called Raspberry Ribbon Variegated. I thought it looked like peppermint, and you know I love peppermint. So I'm going to be doing the green portion on this one in this peppermint. I'm going to use the red for the toe and the heel and the pom-poms, and then I'm going to use white for the top. Now, the only thing different in stitching with the Bernat blanket opposed to this one here that is, oh, I dropped it on the ground, sorry. This one here that is stitched with 2 strands is the top part. And I did more rows because I wanted to roll it down. You can do that on the blanket one. I just didn't because I thought it made it too bunchy. I only did half the amount of rows. 1, 2, 3 opposed to 6. And of course, it's totally up to you how you want to do that. So we're going to make ourselves a great big Christmas stocking. Get you some of your Bernat, or get you 2 strands of worsted weight, and we'll work together and get us a great big Christmas stocking so Santa can fill it with all sorts of goodies. A couple of things about working with the Bernat blanket that you need to know ahead of time is that this is not a stretchy yarn at all. A lot of these yarns that are like this chenille are very easy to pull apart, but this blanket yarn is very sturdy, but it does not have much stretch. And I just thought I'd let you know that before we get started. It is a little tricky to work with at first, so don't let it frustrate you. Take your time and go slow. We're going to begin working with the toe of our stocking, and then we're going to do this particular foot portion, then we'll do the heel portion and work our way up the stocking. So we'll be starting with the toe. So I'm going to use my red blanket yarn. And just a reminder, if you're using 2 strands of worsted weight yarn, you're going to need your K-hook. If you're using your Bernat blanket yarn, you're going to need your end hook, and I'm using a 9mm. The end hook comes in a 10 and a 9mm. Either one I think would be just fine. If you are a really tight crocheter, you may want to do the 10mm. But let's go ahead and get started. And you can test it out. Try either hook if you've got them and see what works best for you. So for row 1, we're going to make our slip knot. And we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, whoops, 3, 4, 5. All right, so our first 3 chains count as our first double crochet. And now we're going to place 9 double crochets in the 4th chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, because these first 3 chains count as our first double crochet. And we want a total of 10 double crochets. And just in case you're not sure what a double crochet is, and another thing is, this stocking is stitched completely all in double crochets with a few decreases and increased stitches. But don't worry, I'll show you how to do those, but for the most part, it's all stitched in double crochet. So yarn over, go in the stitch or chain you're working and pull up a loop, and you'll have 3 chains on your loop. Yarn over, go through the first 2, yarn over, and go through the second 2, and that's 1 double crochet. So now we have 3. We need a total of 10 double crochets. We have a total of 10 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We need 1 more double crochet for a total of 10. That's why it's important to count your stitches. Now we're going to join in the top of that chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Another thing I want to tell you about working with the Bernat yarn is because it doesn't have any stretch, you're going to want to stitch a little bit loose. So if you are a tight crocheter, loosen up a little bit, or you might need to go up and use that 10mm like I was talking about. Because you don't want it to be too tight, because you're not going to have any give if you stitch too tightly to get your stitches on. All right, for row 2, we're going to place 1 double crochet in the same stitch as our chain 3. And then we're going to place 2 double crochets in each of the double crochets around. And so now we're going to go from having 10 double crochets in the first row to having 20 double crochets in the second row. And if you see, I want you to see how I'm stitching just to help you understand, because this yarn is a little tricky. You'll notice I'm stitching really loose. I've already got 1 double crochet in there, and I'm just pulling it up nice and loose. There's lots of room on the loops on my hook, and yarn over and go through both 2 for your double crochet, because like I said, there's very little stretch in this yarn, and if you stitch too tightly, it's going to be really hard to work with it. But I love this yarn. You will get fuzz balls everywhere, I will tell you that. You're probably already seeing them here on my workspace. This yarn does have fuzz balls, but it's worth it with working with such a wonderful soft yarn. Okay, so 2 double crochets in each double crochet around, and then we're going to join and chain 3. So I've got 2 double crochets in each double crochet around for a total of 20 double crochets. So we're going to join in that first chain 3. Whoops. There we go. With a slip stitch, and our joins are all done with slip stitches. And then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, just pulling out a little bit more yarn. Now for row 3, we're going to place 1 double crochet in that same stitch as our chain 3. This is some silly yarn, I have to tell you. It's interesting to work with. All right, now the way the pattern goes for row 3 is we're going to place 1 double crochet in the next double crochet, and then we're going to place 2 double crochets, 1 and 2 in the next double crochet. And what we'll have is we started with the second one with our chain 3, which counted as 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet in the next stitch, 2 double crochets in the next stitch, and we'll repeat this all the way around. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 all the way around, and that will increase us from 20 double crochets to 30 double crochets. So 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and then 2 double crochets in the next stitch. 1, 2. Repeat this all the way around. We'll join to the top of our chain 3. All right, so we did 2, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, so we had 10 double crochets in our first row. We had 20 double crochets in our second row. Our third row, we have a total of 30 double crochets. And we're not going to be increasing anymore. So we're going to join to the top of that chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And now for the next 2 rows, we're going to place 1 double crochet in each double crochet. So we've got 1 double crochet in our first stitch, which is our chain 3. So we're going to place 1 double crochet in each double crochet around. We're not doing any more increasing. We're only making another row. Looky there, I got a knot. I'll just push that to the inside. And don't get frustrated if you get a knot. It's totally typical of every single kind of yarn. You're going to get a knot every now and then. Alrighty, so 1, 2, 3, we're working on the 4th row. So row 4 and row 5, our next row, we're going to be placing 1 double crochet in each double crochet around, join to the top of the chain 3 with a slip stitch, and then chain 3. And we'll do this for 2 rows, row 4 and row 5. Now when you get to the top of row 5, we're going to join, but we're not going to chain 3, and I'll explain that to you when we get there. So 2 rows of 1 double crochet in each double crochet around. I completed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows for the toe of my stocking. I'm going to join to the top of the chain 3, but I'm not going to chain 3 for the next row yet because we're going to be changing colors. So we're going to go ahead and cut that, and we'll set this aside so we can use it for the heel. Now we're going to use the color that we're going to use for the body of the stocking, and this of course is the color that I chose to use. It looks like peppermint to me, and I thought it would make a cute stocking. Alright, so we're going to join our new color in, and then we're going to chain 3. Let's snug that down a little bit. There we go. 2, 3. Alright, so what we're going to do, because we're doing the middle section of the foot, our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet, and then we're going to double crochet in the next 19 stitches. So we'll have a total of 20 stitches. Don't go all the way around, only place 1 double crochet in the next 19 stitches for a total of 20 double crochets, because our chain 3 counted as our first double crochet. And isn't that stitching up so pretty? I'm really going to like this stocking. And just so you understand the portion that we're doing, we just finished the toe of the stocking, and now we're doing this middle section. And our first stitch on the back was a chain 3, and then we placed 1 double crochet in each of the next 19 stitches. We have 20 double crochets, and we're going to leave the 10 here unstitched, and we're going to be stitching back and forth this way. All right, let me move that stocking. So we did our chain 3, and we stitched 19 double crochets, leaving these last 10 stitches unworked. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to turn, and we're going to be stitching back across this row. 1 double crochet in each double crochet, around, and we're going to do this up through row 11. So this was row 6, and we're doing row 7, so we're going to have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we're going to have 6 rows where we chain 3, 1 double crochet in each double crochet, then we turn, chain 3, 1 double crochet in each double crochet. And this is forming the middle section of our stocking. So 6 rows, just like this, 1 double crochet in each double crochet around, chain 3, 1 double crochet in each double crochet around, chain 3, turn back and forth for 6 rows. A section, and now we did the center section of 6 rows of 1 double crochet in each stitch, turn and come back for the center section of our stocking. And I have to tell you, I am really loving this yarn in here. It does look very much like peppermint, even though it has a little bit of pink in it. I really am liking it. All right, so the next section that we're going to do is the heel. So we're going to go ahead and cut our yarn again, and we're going to go back to our red yarn. There we go. And we're going to join that back in. There we go. And then we're going to repeat the chain 3, 1 double crochet in each double crochet for 4 rows. And it's going to be exactly like this, and we're going to do it for 4 more rows, and then we'll start shaping the heel. So we're just going to move those to the inside. I find it easier to kind of spread it out like this and stitch across. 1, 2, 3. 1 double crochet in each double crochet, turn and chain 3, and we'll do this for 4 rows. It's done exactly like we did the center section. We just changed colors to the heel color because we want our toe and our heel to be the solid red or whatever color that you're choosing. 1 double crochet and each double crochet across, turn and chain 3 for 4 more rows. This is what your stocking will look like at this point. We've done the toe, we've done the middle section, and we've started on the heel. We did 4 rows of the red because the red is the same as the toe. So now we're going to shape our heel because we don't want our heel to be square. All right, so we're going to chain 3. And I'm going to open this back up because I like stitching this particular portion this way. All right, so we have our 20 stitches. So what we're going to do is we're going to place 1 double crochet in the next 9 stitches, and then we're going to do a double crochet decrease, or stitching 2 double crochets together, and then we'll stitch the rest of the way across. And I'll show you exactly how that's done. So we've got 1 here, and we're going to place a double crochet in the next 8 stitches. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need 2 more. So we've got our chain 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I needed 3 more, didn't I? 9 double crochets. All right, now we're going to stitch the next 2 double crochets together. And this is going to cause the heel to start to come in. So we're going to yarn over. We're going to go in the next stitch and pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook. Now we're going to go in the next stitch and pull up a loop. And you'll have 4 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and go through the first 3, yarn over and go through the last 2. And what that did is it made 2 stitches become 1. 2 double crochets together. And now we're going to just double crochet across the row, just like we did normally. Stitch double crochets across our row, and then we chained 3. And I want you to look where we did our double crochet together, or our double crochet decrease. You can see it curled just a little bit, and that's giving us a little bit of the shape of our heel. And we're going to do this again. We're going to repeat this, only we're going to stitch across 8, stitch the 2 middle ones together, and then the rest of the way across. So we've got our chain 3, and we're going to stitch 1 double crochet and the next 8 stitches. There we go. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we need to stitch 1 more. And now we're going to do another double crochet together, or double crochet decrease. Yarn over, go through the first stitch and pull up a loop. Go in the next stitch, pull up a loop. Yarn over, go through the first 3. Yarn over, go through the second 2. And then we're going to double crochet the rest of the way across our heel of our stocking. I finished double crocheting across the row, and we're not going to chain 3. We're just going to chain 1 because we're going to sew closed the end of our heel. So the way we do this is the front, and we're going to turn this to the back so that it looks like this, because we're going to be stitching this on the inside and then flipping it out. So I'm going to turn it a little bit like this. And we're going to line the heels up nice and straight. And then we're going to slip stitch them together. So we're going to go in the top of this one, and the top of this one, that yarn out of the way. And we'll pull that through and slip it through the loop. And we'll do this. Now remember to do this a little bit loose because you don't want it to be all puckered. There we go. And slip it through. And take a little finagling, but that's okay. Nice and loose. Now, you're going to have to make a nice middle of the road decision, because if you do it too loose, the end of your heel will lay funny and you'll have holes and all your goodies will fall out. So we're just going to do it tight enough to stay put, but not so tight that it puckers. We don't want it to pucker. We want it to lay nice. A couple more. And make sure you close that heel at the bottom so you don't have a hole there also. Right in there. Make it nice and tight at the bottom. And we're just going to clip that off because we're all done with the red yarn. And we'll just loop that in there and we'll tie that in later. This one here needs to be tied in also. And that's to the inside. So I'm just going to push it in. Now we're going to flip out our heel. And you can see it's rounded. Here's the bottom of our stocking. Look how huge that is. Isn't that fun? All right, so we finished the toe. We got the center portion done. And next we're going to add the long portion that makes our stocking. So we've completed the toe. We've done the bottom portion of the foot, and we've done the heel. And now we're going to add the long portion of the stocking. And this part can be a little bit confusing, so I want to make sure that I explain it well. We're going to be joining our yarn to the back where we started the seam. And you're going to need to stitch 18 double crochets to here. And then you'll have the 10 double crochets that we left around the toe portion. And then you'll need to stitch 18 double crochets down the other side. Now something that I do is I try to divide it in half, because 9 and 9 is equal 18. And I do 9 stitches, then 9 stitches, then 10, then 9 stitches and 9 stitches. And it helps me get it a little more even, because you don't have the tops of the stitches to stitch in. We're going to be stitching in the sides. And another thing that will help you out is you want to try to stitch in these sides of the stitches, not the holes. Now there might be a time where you have to stitch in a hole because you don't have anywhere else to put it, but you want to try to put it in the side of the stitch itself. So here's my yarn. I'm going to join to the first stitch there and make a chain 3, because I'm using the yarn that I'm using the same as here, so I can stitch it up. All right, so I've got one here, so I need to make 8 more stitches to here. So we're just going to have to kind of eyeball it. You want to try to get it in the fuzzy stitch there, not the hole. So there's 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. Get in there. 8 and 9. So there's my first 9. Across here. Now I need to do 9 more till I reach here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, get in there, 8, and last stitch is, oops, there we go, 9. All right, so I stitched 9 across the top, going in the sides of those stitches. And now I'm going to kind of open this up like it looks like a great big slipper. And now I'm going to stitch 1 double crochet in these 10 stitches that we left unworked across the front. And then I'm going to stitch 18 stitches, 9 and 9, like we did over here. So 1, so I stitched 10 stitches across this front section, and now I'm going to do like I did on this side and stitch 18 stitches and then join to the top of that chain 3. So I'm going to stitch 9 here and then 9. 9 and 9 is 18, and then I'm going to join here. So I did 18 stitches, 9 and 9, 10 across, and then 18 stitches, 9 and 9. And now I'm going to join to the top of my chain 3. And now it looks even more like a great big slipper. All right, for this next row, we're going to chain 3. And then we're going to place 1 double crochet in the next 20 stitches. And then we're going to do 3 double crochet decreases on the front of the stocking, and then we'll stitch 20 down the back side. And this is just going to make the front of the stocking kind of curl in a little bit so that it looks a little more like a stocking. So for this row, let me move this yarn a little bit. All right, for this row, we've already done a chain 3, so we're going to place 1 double crochet in the next 20 stitches. So we stitched 1 double crochet in the next 20 stitches. Now we're going to do 3 double crochet decreases, or stitching 2 double crochets together 3 times. And we're going to do this right here in the center of the toe front of our stocking. And this is going to help it curve in a little bit. So we're going to yarn over, go in the first stitch and pull up a loop, go in the next stitch and pull up a loop. Yarn over and go through the first 3, yarn over and go through the second 2. And we're going to do this 2 more times. And then 1 more time. Get a little more yarn out here. There we go. All right, now when you look at the front of it, you can see it's pulled in a little bit. That's helping with the shaping of our stocking. And then we're going to double crochet in these last stitches all the way back around, and we're going to join to this first chain 3. So 1 double crochet in each double crochet back around, join with a slip stitch, and then chain 3. So here's where we did our decreases, those 3 places where we double crocheted 2 stitches together or decrease double crochet. And you can see it's forming the toe of the stocking. Now we have one more row that we're going to do where we're going to do a couple of decreases, and then after that it's just row after row after row of double crochets. So we're going to do something similar. We're going to place 1 double crochet in the next 19 double crochets across. Then we'll do a double crochet decrease, 1 double crochet, and a double crochet decrease, and that's just enough for the shape of the stocking. So 1 double crochet in the next 19 double crochets across, and then we'll do some decreases. So we stitched 1 double crochet in the next 19 stitches, and now we're going to do another double crochet decrease, or stitching 2 double crochets together, yarn over, go through the first stitch and pull up a loop, yarn over, go through that next stitch and pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 3, there we go, yarn over, go through the last 2. Then we're going to just place 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and now we're going to do another decrease. So we're going to go in, pull up a loop, go in the next one and pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 3, yarn over, go through those last 2, and then again we're going to do 1 double crochet in each double crochet around this side. We're going to join to that first chain 3 that we did on this row, and then chain 3. And you'll find that there won't be any more tricky decreases in this stocking. So we finished this last row. You can see the shape of the stocking taking form. And then these next rows, row 20 through row 29, we're going to just stitch 1 double crochet in each double crochet around, chain 3, or join and chain 3. And we're going to do this from row 20 to row 29, which makes a really nice long stocking. So we better get started. 1 double crochet in each double crochet around, join and chain 3. So I finished my 9 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I added 2 extra rows because I wanted it to be extra long. And I am so excited about the way the yarn color pulled in these neat stripes. I don't know how I did that. It just turned out that way, and I just love it. So the last thing that we need to do on our stocking is we need to add the trim. And I'm just going to use this solid white, and we're going to do exactly the same thing that we've been doing. Chain 3, we joined our yarn in, chain 3, and then we're going to place 1 double crochet in each double crochet around, and we're going to do this for 3 rows. So I'm going to turn my stocking over. There we go. I'm just so excited about the way this yarn color pulled. Now this is the Burnett yarn. I think it's called Raspberry Cream, Raspberry Ribbon. And I am absolutely excited about the way it turned out, because this is my stocking. The big green one I'm going to give to my husband. The grandkids call him Opa. And this one is going to be mine, and the grandkids call me Oma. So we're putting on our trim, 1 double crochet in each double crochet around, join, chain 3 for 3 rows, and that gives us a beautiful white trim. We did 3 rows of the white for our band. It's done exactly the same, 1 double crochet in each double crochet around, join to the top of the chain 3 with a slip stitch. And then what we're going to do is we're going to chain about 10 or 12 It's up to you how many you want. This is for the hanger. However much room you think you need. I'm just going to do about that many. Cut that off and then just join that back in. There's our string. And pull that through. Like that. And then use your needle and sew that in so that doesn't come off. The other thing I wanted to show you how to make are my loopy pom-poms that I have like this. I call them, not loopy, loose pom-poms. And they're made just like a pom-pom, only you leave the strings long and they're just kind of floppy. Maybe we could call them floppy pom-poms. They're really fun to make. All you do, let's move these stockings out of the way. And I'm going to make them in this white. And all you do, it's really, really simple. Just take your hand, wrap it around about 15 or 20 times. However many that you want. I like a lot of loops. Lost a loop there, so we'll just twist that back on. There we go. Alright, so we make a bunch of loops on our hand, about 10 or 12, maybe 20, however many that you want. We just cut that, and we're going to set that down so that we can get in that circle there. And just cut off a nice long piece of yarn that you're using. We're using the Bernat blanket, of course, and we're just going to pick that up and take this piece of yarn and push it through there. Okay, then we're going to tie a knot. We'll try again. There we go. I usually do a couple. And that's one thing about this Bernat yarn is it is a little bit stronger than some of the other yarns that are blanket yarns. And so you can pull on it pretty good. And then I just take this end and I just cut all those loops. And then now if you miss a couple, like I think I did, you just kind of clip them off. Now it's up to you how long you want it. I like it like that. It's kind of a cross between a pom-pom and fringe or a tassel. And I usually make two, and then I'll take the same piece of the yarn and I'll just make a long braid, making a chain for as long as I want to. Pull some more yarn out there. And I'll show you what I do. I just take these strings and the end of the chain where I began and I finished, and I just tie them together. Like that. And then I just let the pieces hang down. And I'll cut them, trying to make it even with the other ones. So it just hangs there on the end of my chain. And I'll make two pom-poms and I'll make a long chain, and then I'll loop it like I did this one, just through the loop that's there. And then you've got a couple of fun little loopy tassels on your stocking. I love them. They're just fun. They're different than a pom-pom and different than a tassel. I call them loopy. I don't know why. They're really more of a non-loopy, huh? Well, I love them added to this stocking. So the stocking is done. It turned out so pretty. I love the stripes in it. And the thing is, even though it's a great big stocking, you're using a great big hook, you're using a great big thick yarn, and it whips up really fast. And the band part is so thick, you could easily put someone's name on there. Well, I'm keeping this one, that's for sure.